One of the great perks of being a senior is that you lose the ability to give a fuck. Some might call it a curse, but let me tell it to you straight up. I runs a YouTube channel where people comes to hear funny shit and stupid stories. So even though what happened in this story was stupid and petty, I'm gonna hit this shit out of the park, cause it's exactly what you boys come to see. One man's pain is an audience's pleasure, so I suppose you can view this video as virtual BDSM. I don't know, but whatever gets you going. All jokes aside, I'm obviously not going to be using any real names whatsoever here. I don't want anyone I talks about being targeted, because even if I don't think what they did was right, they obviously has their own perspective, and I don't think bullying and harassment is the answer to all the problems in the world. Would they be as forgiving as they were in my shoes? Jesus no, but who gives a fuck? I gotta worry about a YouTube channel, they don't. Either I makes a video on this now, or I'm gonna get cancelled for what I said about it 5 years down the line. And knowing just how great cancel culture can be, I'm not gonna take any chances. Make sure you keeps in mind that in the real world, there is no such thing as a hero or a villain. We're all fucking people. I'm not looking for pity points or sympathy off of anybody. I just wants people to know that this petty story went on the go with no sugarcoating and no bullshit. I'm not perfect and neither is anybody else. At the end of the day, I'm hoping to at least look back on this video 5 years from now and think about how much of an immature cocksucker I really was. But hey, I don't want to get cancelled for it, and I'm sure all of you boys will get a kick out of it, cause I knows how fucking sick all of you are. So with all that being said, I hope you enjoy.
Here we go again. Same old shit, dog, just a different day.
I'm gonna start off by saying that I have so much respect for the two missuses involved that I'm gonna give them the most polite names I could possibly think of, just so no one will be offended, right? So from this point forward, I'll be calling them Thing 1 and Thing 2. I'm sure they won't mind, but everyone loves a bit of Dr. Seuss. Call me a sick fuck if you want, but I used to think that Thing 1 is half decent to be around. I'm not gonna say I was attracted to her, cause to be honest with you, the only time I really noticed was when I was at least 8 beers in. But believe it or not, I thought she was best kind to like talk to and all that even when I was sober, which I couldn't say for too many people. I'm a picky fucker, what can I tell you? So anyways, I can't remember why exactly, but this missus was up to me house one Saturday night. And while she was upstairs doing whatever, I was in me downstairs bar getting absolutely shit-faced drunk. In other words, I was just practicing my daily routine. All shit aside, I did not pay much attention to her for most of the night. No matter what situation you ends up in, beer always comes first. And that's a huge accomplishment, because I come pretty fast. Thing 1 left my house around 1 o'clock or so. And the second that she got home, I started messaging her. I ran out of beer, me buddies, what can I say? She snapped back to me with the stupid heart thing he does with your hands, and at that point the beer took control of the brain and I started acting like a retard. I don't know what I messaged her exactly, but I know that I was complimenting her and shit like that. I was calling her like pretty and that. Like, believe it or not, for once in my life, I was not even being sexual. That'll shock a lot of you, I know. Don't get me wrong, I probably would have sent a dick pic, but me buddy's a solid 1.5 inches, so it was too small to fit on camera. True story. Stupid jokes aside, I was still sane enough to realize that I didn't want to go all in right away. When you're drunk enough to realize that you're saying stupid shit, you knows you're in for a rough morning. But I told Mrs. not to message me and I'd get back to her in the morning. And then I shut my phone off for the night. I wakes up the next morning and I thought puking up half me liver would be my biggest regret of the night. But once I realized what I actually did, I felt like a total scumbag, and let me tell you why. See, I didn't mention this before, but Thing 1 used to go out with one of my childhood friends. And in Newfoundland, you just don't do anything with a missus your buddy just went out with. It's like when a dog pisses on your tree. Except just picture it as a dude pissing on a missus. You're marking your territory, me buddy. You're letting the boys know to fuck off. Jokes aside, the buddy that she went out with was one of my closest friends growing up. I knew him for over 10 years, and I could honestly care less about how she reacted, positive or negative, it didn't really matter. But the fact that I was flirting with me buddy's ex was what sucked the most for me. So obviously, I wanted all the shit from the night before to be forgotten about completely. Texting her was wrong, and I figured that she'd understand why I wouldn't want it brought up again. She agreed not to say anything, and I didn't text her for a few days afterwards just because it was like half awkward. Like, it was normal fucking behavior, yes. Like, I'm not gonna go text someone right after I said shit like that to him. Like, it's stupid. I knows this might sound repetitive as fuck, but I just gotta hammer the point home a little more to you. I didn't want anything spread about what I said because it was really personal for me, and I didn't want all of her friends knowing about something I said while I was absolutely pissed drunk and I wasn't in the right mind. Bottom line. Told you 3 times, so I hope you can understand where I'm coming from. All the same though, she told me that she wouldn't say anything to anyone, so everything seemed best kind. But as the days went by, I started to notice a few things. So the day after I told her not to say anything, right? The next morning, her best friend starts typing me something on Snapchat, but she never sent me a message after. It seems pretty weird, don't it? Especially since I've never had a conversation with this missus like a full one in my life. So around this time, I started to feel like something was up. Some might call it paranoia, but I call it common fucking sense, so you should use it every now and again. But that's not exactly concrete proof, right? Teenage girls are not the brightest people on the planet though, and a day or so later, I found out the truth. I was burning around St. John's with Ting One's ex, and for the whole car ride, she's snapping him non-stop, like flat out. So as a joke, he turns the camera over to me, and I gives her the middle finger for a laugh. Like, I didn't take it too seriously, no one would. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, right? But this missus snaps back to my childhood friend and her ex-boyfriend, mind ya, that he wasn't saying that to me Saturday night. Now, obviously, I wasn't too happy with this, because not only did it come out of absolutely nowhere, but it pretty much guaranteed to me that she went around telling fucking everybody. If she's willing to make jokes about what I said to the exact person I told her not to say anything to, then I don't think it's too much of a stretch to assume that she wouldn't hide it from any of the other boys either. I didn't want to make a scene in public though. I might be stupid, but I'm not an idiot. Huge difference. So I waited till I got home, and I pretty much just asked her what the fuck she was getting on with. I gotta mention something real quick, bye. The one thing I got absolutely zero time for is a liar. If she would have just come out and said that she told her friends, I wouldn't have cared. But instead, she went ahead and denied that she told a soul, which was clearly bullshit. So I pretty much told her to fuck off for the rest of the night, because I didn't have the patience for it. If I wanted to hear someone lie to me for 3 hours straight, I'd turn on Fox News back. The next morning, I basically told her that if she went around messaging more people, I wouldn't talk to her again. I'm not going to waste me time repeating the same shit. So to sum it up, she told more people, I told her to fuck off, and she told me nothing because she already had me blocked. At that point, because honestly, I needed a break from it all myself. It was getting so fucking stupid that I just couldn't care. So a day or two passes by, and all of a sudden she unblocks me at like midnight or something and sends me a message. I could have let it go at this point, but I'm a dumb, retarded teenager, so the stupidest decision is always the first option. I asked her what she unblocked me for, and I told her that I didn't want to talk with her again. She apologized for unblocking me and said she'd remove me again as soon as possible. Now here's where shit gets real. Cause what I was about to say to this missus was the lowest blow you could ever give to someone. And I'm not talking about cocaine. I've not reached that point in my career yet. I gotta do the rise before I does the fall. But let me give you some background, all jokes aside. A week or two before this shit went down, Ting One had to put down one of her cats that was sick for a while, and she was screeching about it, right? It was fucking sad. At the time, I sent her support and all that other shit, but now, well, me buddies, I was the ultimate opportunist, and I was just about ready to cash in my feline in the bank briefcase. So I reels it back, puts a bullet in the chamber, and I tells her to go kill another cat, just like the last one, and then I blocks her.
Oh my gosh. Splash.
Now I'm gonna be honest, as soon as I sent that message, I realized that what I said was fucking horrible. I thought I was the biggest piece of shit on the planet, and there's not a doubt in my mind that even with all the shit she did beforehand, I was definitely 100% in the wrong for saying this. Thankfully, plenty of people shared my opinion, because around 30 seconds after I blocked her, I had 5 or 6 people sending me messages to let me know how much of a fucking loser I was. It was pretty brutal too, but I had people wishing death on me and everything, sure. Felt like a real 50 Cent sort of moment, I gotta say. Many men wish death on me, especially when it comes to cats. But that wasn't the end of this, not even fucking close. Ting One's ex messages me and tells me to stop, which didn't make much sense because I didn't message back anything after I said what I said. I had her blocked. So what the fuck? But like, I just to fucking like end it all, I told them I wouldn't say anything else, just so they'd leave me alone. I was being way too naive though. I realized that now, because a few minutes later, he messages back and asks for permission to give Thing 2 my phone number. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, but I said it was fine as long as she only texted. Needless to say, I had around 3 or 4 different numbers calling me in the middle of the night. Not to mention a good few Snapchat accounts magically adding me by search. I actually did feel horrible about the shit I did, so I took all the photos off my Instagram. I took every single photo of me ever, deleted it completely, and I posted a giant apology on my story. Obviously, it didn't really do much, but you can't say I was just being a cunt for the sake of it. I felt like shit, and I wanted people to know that I was actually sorry. Now, what surprised me the most about all this bullshit was the reaction I got when I told me buddies about what went down. I was like this.
How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes.
But the rest of me fucking friend group, here's what the average reaction I got was.
Ah, look at the top of his head. Look at his lips.
Now I'm telling ya, all of you boys are going directly one-way ticket to hell for laughing at that. But I gotta say, through all the crazy shit I was having to deal with, it definitely did help to have some boys not taking it too seriously. If it weren't for them, I would have been dealing with a lot more shit and I would have been way more pissed off. So thanks me buddies, I appreciate it. Jokes aside, I still did feel really guilty about what I did. But what happened a week afterwards completely changed my opinion on all of that. So before I goes any further, I'm gonna let all of you know about Ting 2. Believe me, if YouTube didn't have a privacy rule and I didn't have respect for some of the people this cunt knows, I would drag this missus's name through the goddamn Bay Roberts dirt road. But it's all I can do boys, so I'm calling her Ting 2. Actually, fuck it. Let me tell you about what else she did first. Not only did she leak my phone number and my Snapchat around, but as I'm heading into me work a few days later, one of her other buddies, Ting 3 you could call her, messages me and asks if I'm working that day. Turns out, Ting 1 and Ting 2 were into me work looking for me. A week after I said what I said, mind ya. Now before you calls me paranoid and gives me some bullshit about it being a coincidence, let me throw this one at ya. The very next day, they shows up to my work again, and this time they starts taking photos of me and my coworkers. Not a word of a lie, I had to go back and explain to them what happened with the cat. They all started dying laughing too, don't get me wrong, but still, there's no reason whatsoever why one stupid comment I made would go this far into my personal life. No fucking need at all. If I was working with arseholes, I could have easily been fired that day. And before anyone tries to justify or support the shit that they did, I want you to picture what would happen if the roles were reversed. Let's say it was a woman who told a man to go kill another cat. This buddy gets upset, leaks her phone number around, gives boys her Snapchat, and then goes into her work and takes photos of her. Would this buddy be called the victim? Not a fucking chance in hell, bah. You'd be calling him a creep and a stalker, wouldn't you? Because he is. But because I've got a penis and she apparently allegedly has a vagina, I wouldn't go that far, it's a whole different reaction. It doesn't sound too fair to me, but I'm just saying. And that's not even the best part. When I got on break, I messaged the boys group chat and told them what happened. At this point, I could give less of a fuck about the cat, so I went ahead and made another joke about it. But Ting 1's ex didn't take too kindly to that, so he ratted the Ting 2 about what I said, and she messaged me a giant paragraph about it. Know what the best part of it is though? I got it saved, and we're gonna read that shit together, like one big happy family. I promise you boys, one day I'm gonna find a missus, get married, have kids, get divorced, and fight for weekend access and child support payments just like everyone else. But for now, let's just have some fun. Hey blank. So just an FYI, we were at your work to get food, not to see you. Yeah, because out of all the spots you could have gone to get a feed, you decided for the second time in 2 days to go to the exact spot that the person you're beefing with works at. What a coincidence, bah. Oh, it's not like you got one of your friends to message me and ask if I was working that day. Definitely just luck that they showed up. I'm sure, bah. You don't get that much attention, do you? Aside from the over 820 fans I got on YouTube, no, not really, bah. My tits are too hairy to show off to the boys, so I can't exactly get popular in the same way this missus did. But even then, I don't really care if people pays attention to me or not. I'm gonna keep making these fucking videos and living me life whichever way it goes. I don't let other people's opinions and thoughts on me change the way I act. But when those opinions are based on a mountain of bullshit, well me buddy, that's when I gotta respond to you. We don't give a fuck about you or your life. Do whatever you want. But please stop being so obsessed with ours. So just as a quick reference, here's a list of what I did. 1. Said horrible shit about Ting 1's cat. 2. Made a joke about her after they came into my work and took photos of me. Now let's see what they did. 1. Leaked my phone number. 2. Leaked my Snapchat. 3. Stalked my SnapMap location to find out when I was working. 4. Took pictures of me while I was doing my job. And I'm the obsessed one. Alright then. You can read my response if you want, but I'm basically just telling her to go away out of it. These goofballs don't take too kindly to hearing the truth though. But believe it or not, I'm not going to show you the other texts, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. The truth is that I don't see a point in showing texts from a missus who knew that the entire time she was completely full of shit. Ting 2 isn't the only one who got a rat on speed dial, believe it or not. Thanks to one heroic snitch, I found out that the day before they went into my workplace for the first time, they decided to talk shit about me and my family beforehand on a FaceTime call, and told the boys that they were going to pay me a visit just to piss me off and say something to me. So knowing this information, there ain't much of a reason or a fucking point in taking them seriously. Mrs. knew I wasn't obsessed with anybody, she just wanted to carry on petty bullshit for something to be at. The second that we stopped talking though, I found out that she went around asking all of my friends how I knew all the dirt on her. I'm not going to mention the dirt out of respect for me friends' privacy, but just know that it was pretty fucking sick stuff. But honestly, when I first started writing this script, I planned on exposing this missus for a good 2 to 3 minutes. But to be honest with you, there's no real point. I said what I had to say, and any normal person who's listening to this can pretty easily see that these chicks are fucking crazy. And besides, even if everything I've said was true and everything that was said about me was based on a lie, which it was, I'll still end up looking like the bad guy if I make some missus cry because I called her out on her bullshit. So fuck it, who cares?
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
I could have said a lot worse in this video, just know that. But just in case all this shit suddenly ends after I post this, I'll leave it at that. I didn't know this cunt 6 months ago, and I'm probably going to forget about the cunt in another 6, so there's no point. But to end her off for today, that's the main message I wanted you to get out of this video. This whole thing, all this drama, it's fucking pointless. And nobody gives a shit about it other than you and your buddies. When my buddies started laughing after I told them what happened, I realized that the world is bigger than shit only one of their friend groups took offense to. So remember that if you're ever in a mountain of shit with a group of cunts, it's not the end of the world. Shit happens. Right back what is wrong, we move along. This has been Leaf Carlo, and I'll see you on the right side of the rock. Have a good one.